Dominik Mysterio's segment on Monday Night Raw had fans split, but let's be real. This was pure heel work. Dom talked his big game, got interrupted by John Cena's music, only for Mini Cena and Mini Stu, the cameraman, to show up. Classic troll energy. Dom played it perfectly. Fake fear, then have slimy confidence as he kicked Mini Cena and hit the 5-knuckle shuffle, 619, and frog splash onto poor Mini Cena. That's textbook heel behavior. Picking on someone smaller, milking the booze, and leaning into the slime ball personality. Finn and JD doing old school abdominal stretch assistance, and you've got Judgment Day running the vintage heel playbook. This wasn't regression for Dom, it was Attitude Era style chaos. Dom is staying heel, and that's exactly where he belongs. So, welcome. My name is Writer Maven. I am the host of the Restless Receipts podcast. I cover all things Judgment Day. Dom, Raquel, Finn, JD, Roxanne, Poor Carlito, and Los Americanos, and El Grande Americano. This Raw review is entitled Real Heel Shit, because what Dom did was real heel shit. While we didn't get a Judgment Day Clubhouse segment, and we're on week 3 of that not happening, we did get some advancement with everyone. While it looks like Dom, Finn, and JD have reset to being a one big happy family again, and that's probably for the best for right now, we did get some advancement with Dom, we got some advancement with Raquel, and we got some advancement with Roxanne, because at least now Roxanne and Raquel are not just sitting in limbo twiddling their thumbs. Like tonight, Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce reminded Raquel she's still in the hunt for the title after Survivor Series, and Roxanne stepped up, congratulated Maxine, our new Women's Intercontinental Champion, and then made it clear that she's coming from the IC title. And then Ivy now threw her bone into the mix. The women's IC title is heating up, and this is exactly where it should be. It should be for the mid-card heels and faces. But it looks like it's going to be a title match with Ivy Nile first and then Roxanne. Raquel's path is towards the main women's title, and Roxanne is towards the IC. But at least they're still moving. And while Finn and JD are on pause, JD was able to show out, and I am really enjoying these opportunities for him to show out with veterans and just show off his wheel work, and he will be getting that win soon. But let's get started, shall we? First of all, prayers to Penta. He got himself injured during his match to Solo Sikoa, and the last time is now tournament. It looks like he landed wrong after he did that Hurricanrana on Solo Sikoa. I have no idea what Tama Tonga is doing, or Tamaloa, or whoever the fuck that is. But I don't know what he's doing. He's been botching a lot. I don't like it. He's pretty much been dropping Rey Fenix on his head a lot and just missing. So I don't know what he needed to go. That's probably somebody that needed to go to Evolve and then NXT. He should have just gotten straight to the main roster. But not Rey Fenix, Penta landed wrong, and they had to call the match and give the match to Solo Sikoa. So he's going to be facing Gunther next week, looks like. Hopefully Penta isn't injured too badly, but if he is and he's out, then man, this sucks for Rey Fenix, because it seems like every time Rey Fenix gets some momentum going for him, he gets cut off at the knees. Either Andrade leaves him, or he was out for a long time because they didn't know what to do with him after El Grande Americano was done with them. And then when he looks like he's going to join up with Penta to reunite the Lucha Brothers down there in AAA, this happens. So I'm really hoping Penta is okay. But if not, it sucks for Rey Fenix. But on the other hand, this might be an opportunity for Rey Fenix to show out and not be in Penta's shadow. And that seems to be a case with a lot of these injuries going on. But first of all, let's go into some pre-Raw shenanigans, shall we? Dominik Mysterio was named the #1 wrestler under 30 for the second time by ESPN. It was a nice write-up for ESPN, so go check it out. It's on their website, so check it out. It's just pretty much naming him the #1 wrestler for under 30, so under the age of 30. So you have, Rhea's on there, um, Kevin Knight's on there, MJF, all of them. So it was cool. And a good congratulations to him. ESPN also had a video of Dom for SportsCenter, which was very hype and very cool. Dominik also has new merch out, shirts and a jacket. The jacket is cool but very expensive, and I am very sad panda. One of Dom's shirt is his neck tattoo, which is cool as well. I like the bone shirt, which is black, and then the other shirts pretty much name him as King of the Luchador, so they are really pushing that um nickname hard for him right now. He's still Dirty Dom, but he's King of the Luchadors as well. Also, Raquel had an interview before Raw. She talked up Dom, JD, and Roxanne, saying they're a family, saying they always had each other's back. Now, this is where I started having problems with certain people on social media. Immediate discourse about this was people saying that she wasn't there for Dom and that she was replacing Liv with Roxanne because she called Roxanne Chiquita. Now, I really don't like when people say that Raquel or like JD or Finn hasn't been there for Dom, because Dom hasn't really been there for them either. Like, you can say with Finn, he's been doing some shady shit, and that's the only person you can be saying he's been doing the shady shit and been doing actual shit to Dom. But for like Raquel and JD, even though they've been kind of shady towards Dom, they haven't really done that much, and they haven't like left Dom on his own. Yeah, we had that promo 2 weeks ago about Dom asking where his family is, but like I said at the time, he did the same thing when he lost the North American Championship 2 years ago, and nothing came of it. So it's still the same repetitive shit. But in Dom's case, Dom wasn't there for Raquel or Roxanne either. He was there for them twice, and then as soon as they lost the women's tag team titles, he hasn't been out there for them at all. So I can't understand this discourse of people going after Raquel and having their foot on her neck for not supporting Dom, like when she said that they were family. When Dom hasn't done the same thing for Raquel. Yeah, he was doing it when Raquel and Liv were together and Liv wasn't injured, but after that, he wasn't around. So it goes both ways. Like, if you're gonna call out Raquel for not being there for Dom, you got to call out Dom for not being there for Raquel and Roxanne at the same time as well. And then they were getting after Raquel for not bringing up Liv. Like, she's replaced Liv with Roxanne because she called her Chiquita. She might not be able to say much about Liv in these interviews. This is like a non kayfabe interview. This is like a real world interview. She may not be able to say much about Liv. And I wouldn't expect her to say that much about Liv. You mean she could mention her, yeah, but I wouldn't expect her to say that much about Liv because she's injured. And even with that, what do they expect Raquel to say? Like, whenever Raquel would post something about Liv or post something about Liv and Dom, or just something like that, like La Familia, when she was doing that, and she has done that. Don't let anybody say that she hasn't. But when she did, they were calling her a snake. Oh, now you want to post about Liv? I'm like, she's been posting about Liv. Where are you getting that she suddenly stopped and then all of a sudden started again? Now, they'll say that, but then they'll ignore Liv not saying anything about Dom's loss. And I am still saying that is fucking weird for her not to do that. You see what I mean? Like, if you're gonna call Robert Kill for not talking about Liv, then you need to be calling out Liv for not posting anything about Dom's loss. And I said what I said. Also, WWE posted a teaser of something that will be coming in 4 days. We saw like a picture of like a blonde like applying like some lip gloss or whatever. Some people were saying Liv Morgan, but we had the hilarious discourse on the X again that said that wasn't Liv Morgan because she hadn't changed her nails in 3 years. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, are y'all really looking at Liv's nails long enough to know that isn't her? Isn't her? So it could be Liv, it could be Charlotte, it could be Tiffany in this ad, but who knows? Maybe it is Liv. But even if it is Liv, I still am not. I mean, let's put her like at a 30 to 40% chance of her showing up at Survivor Series. I'm not really expecting her at this moment. I'm not going to predict it because you can't really predict stuff like this, but I'm not really expecting her at Survivor Series. For one, there's no slot for her right now, and it wouldn't make sense. And I really think they want to, if Cena is putting over Dom, I think they want that moment to be Dom's alone, and they don't want to have it wrapped up with any returns or any Judgment Day chaos advancement, because that's probably why they paused Finn and JD right now. They paused that. They paused Liv. Liv could probably come back in the beginning of next year, and then they start rolling from there. But regardless, whatever they were advertising that's happening in 4 days, it'll show up on Friday. But let's get into Monday Night Raw, shall we? Dom promo, and this promo was amazing and a doozy. Dom comes out. Dom says that he's going to put it in to John Cena. Make him. He's just gonna kill the retirement tour. He's going to embarrass him. He is the greatest Mysterio of all time. Yada yada yada. Yeah, he's just talking big game and big shit. Typical heel Dom. And note, he is getting booed. And also of note, you have to listen to Wade Barrett and Joe Tessacor. Wade Barrett in the break called Dom and Mustachio Lothario, which is hilarious. And Joe Tessacor was talking about Dom's loss. He was saying like, oh, he went down to AAA. He was victorious at AAA, but he lost the 6-man tag and on Monday last week. And Wade Barrett was calling him out like, you were saying it good, and then you had to throw in that shot of Dom losing. So Dom is still not getting that sympathy from the face commentary, and that is important, and you will see why. So after Dom is talking his shit, John Cena's music hits. And then all of a sudden, you see Dom scared, like, oh crap, it's John Cena. Wade Barrett is talking it up, like, oh, he's making a surprise appearance. He's coming out. And what did we get? Out comes Mini John Cena and Mini Stu the cameraman. Fucking hilarious. I'm seriously. What really put this segment over the top was Mini Stu the cameraman, because you had the actual Stu who was thinking like Cena is about to come out. So you have Stu in the shot, like actual cameraman Stu, and then you have Mini cameraman Stu, and they're both filming Mini John Cena. Hilarious. And Tessacore is like, oh, Stu is not really happy about all that. It was just hilarious, and Mini John Cena is mimicking John Cena, what he's doing, the whole towel running up. He couldn't get into the ring, like hop in like John Cena does, so he had to take the stairs, the steel steps. Hilarious. And then this is where Dom is, instead of Dom being scared, he's all smiles now because it's just Mini John Cena. And Manny John Cena finally gets into the ring and proceeds to imitate Cena. And then Manny John Cena just really gets into it because Dom really wanted him to stick to the script. I guess he had like a script for Manny John Cena to say, and Manny John Cena was deviating from it. And then it got to a point where Manny John Cena just kept going on and on and on. And then Dom just straight up kicks them. Like, he just kicks Manny John Cena. And just takes him out. Dom proceeds to do a 5-knuckle shuffle on Mini John Cena, a 619, and a frog splash. So pretty much taking out Mini John Cena, annihilating him, hitting him with all his moves, and he's gloating about it. And then this brings Rey Mysterio, the deadbeat dad, out, and Dom pretty much takes off. He doesn't want anything to do with his deadbeat dad. And then after Rey is like staring down Dom, out comes Finn and JD. And Finn and JD meet Dom in the aisleway there. They're all smiles. They're talking each other up. Dom is fist bumping JD and Finn. And then JD proceeds to go head to the ring for his match with Rey Mysterio, because that was announced earlier in the day. Now, my notes and thoughts on this, I know people have some problem with it because they're respecting Dom to be face, but like I said earlier, this is pure heel work. And this pretty much indicates to me they want Dom to stay heel. And I've been saying that. I said they want Dom to stay heel, even with all the cheers. They want him to stay heel. And like I said here now, even in this day and age, heels will get cheered. So they're just gonna keep him as a heel. And Dom pretty much needs to stay as a heel anyway for Cena, and he needs to stay a heel for Rey. Because Rey ain't moving to become to like be more sympathetic to Dom. They're still antagonistic to each other. So Dom needs to stay heel for that eventual match or retirement match or whatever. So this is just pure heel work and it's great. And like I said, this is some pure straight out of the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression Era. You know that those two eras that people always complain and want to return back to, Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression Era. Well, here, this is something out of the Attitude Era. This is something out of the Ruthless Aggression Era. This is something you would do. You are mocking your opponent. And since Cena ain't here, this is what they had to do. And and if you wanted Dom face, I'm sorry, but it looks like he's not. And honestly, they probably just need to keep Dom heel anyway. Yeah, he can probably be a face, but he might lose something in translation with them for him to become a face. He got over with his heel work, his slimy tactics, him being, just being like Wade Barrett says, a mustachio Lothario. So that's what got him over. That's what got him cheered. Yeah, it's his whole character work, but it's centered in being a heel. And you just might have to deal with that until they're comfortable enough with them for Dom to turn face. But that might not be coming for a while now. Also, Judgment Day is back on the same page, but like I said was that Saturday? Sunday. So like I said on Sunday, don't be surprised if we're back to state square one or we're back at a reset. And look what happened. We're back at a reset. And I'm pretty much sure why they're doing that, because they can't advance the Judgment Day storyline until Dom gets past Survivor Series. Once we get past Survivor Series, we'll see if things go back to Finn eyeing the title or something like that. But they had to reset it where everybody's back on the same page. I know it's frustrating. I know we want that advancement, but they had to reset it. So, but they were cool. And actually, speaking me personally with Judgment Day, I actually like it when Judgment Day is on the same page. We were robbed of having a Judgment Day, at least this iteration of Judgment Day, like Finn, JD, Liv, Raquel, adding in Roxanne and Carlito. We were robbed of this iteration working together and being on the same page and looking good. We were robbed of that because they had to feed this iteration of Judgment Day to Rhea and Damien. And you see what happened with Damien, and you see what's happening to Rhea now. So they pretty much got gutted just for Rhea and Damien, and now we've been in this weird antagonistic thing where Finn and Dom should be fighting by now, but they're not. But still, even with all that, I like it when they work together. This is where you see Finn actually being a good stepdaddy to Dom. I like that because I like their interactions. I like their relationship. I've been watching them, since Dom was been on the main roster when he linked up with Finn, and we've always had those really nice, amusing moments with Finn and Dom when they were all both on the same page, where they're just really nice. So I have no problem with them resetting right now back to them working together. Is it frustrating? Yeah, I still want my Judgment Day clubhouse scenes, and we were robbed of that tonight. But at this particular moment, I have no problem with it. Now we're going to segue into JD McDonagh versus Rey Mysterio. This was a sleeper highlight. JD Spanish Fry is amazing. He hits that as a counter. A counter. So this man will hit somebody with a Spanish Fry as a counter coming off the ropes. It's amazing. He did that to Rey. He did that to Ilya on Friday. I love it. The domino stretch spot with Finn holding JD's hand was hilarious, and that's old school heel comedy. I was expecting the ref to kick Finn's hand, and we didn't get that, and I was really disappointed because that's usually what they do. Both heels are holding hands, and then the ref finally catches them doing that. So the heels can get leverage, and then the ref will just go over there and like kick the hand to break the hold, and they didn't do that. So I was so disappointed. The finish came when Rey knocked JD into Finn, hit the 619, and landed the frog splash for the win. They did a little Benny Hill bit of Rey like escaping Finn chasing after him, and he escapes the ring, and Judgment Day takes the loss there. My takeaway on this is just DG is just continuing to show out with the vets. I'm really happy he was able to work with John Cena. I'm really happy he's been able to show out with Ilya Dragunov. I'm really happy he's able to work with Rey Mysterio. Like, he has been showing out. I'm glad they're been giving him his opportunity. And it's only a matter of time. It's not if, but when JD McDonagh gets a big win. Because he needs that big win soon. And like I said on Sunday, or Saturday. Like I said on Saturday, JD should be in single titles contention next year. And this leads us into Raquel and Scrap Daddy. Raquel wants her title shot. She was complaining about Nikki, and Scrap Daddy says that she'll be in the hunt after Survivor Series, so they have to get past Stephanie versus Nikki in Survivor Series. We did also see a funny exchange where Grayson Waller gave Adam Pierce the wig, and Adam is just like, get out, get out. He just starts yelling at Grayson Waller for doing that because he was already annoyed with New Day because New Day wanted him to say it's official because they had set him up with a tag team match, I believe, next week, and he's like, okay, it's official now. Can you go? And then here comes not Adam, like Grayson Waller with the wig, and they just put it on Adam's head, and he was just like, get out, and then starts yelling like his typical Adam Pierce. I love him. Um, Notes from this: Raquel is still in the main women's world title scene. So she's separating from Raquel here. I mean, not Raquel, Roxanne here, where she's placing herself in the main women's title scene, and this is important for what goes on later on tonight because we had Maxine talking with Scrap Daddy Adam Pierce later on. Scrap Daddy, they're having a chat. Maxine mentions that she wants to talk with Natalia, seek her counsel. And then after Scrap Daddy leaves, she comes across Ivy Nile, who says that the title is hers. And then she comes across Roxanne, and then Raquel comes in later. Roxanne congratulates Maxine and then says that she could take it all away. Scrap Daddy interrupts and says, didn't we just talk? Like, why? What are you doing here? And then Roxanne was saying, hey, you didn't talk to me, which is true. He talked to Raquel. And then Scrap Daddy was saying, like, oh, poor Propacita. Like, hilarious. And then, he's like, happy Thanksgiving. And, he's pretty much breaking it up. And Roxanne says, see you later, champ. And they both, Raquel and Roxanne, walk off. Now, the women's IC seems to be heating up, and this is what was needed for the women's mid card scene. You want the mid card to be built. That means a Roxanne, that means a Maxine, that means an Ivy Nile, that means like all these other women that could use these opportunities. Like if you want to bring in somebody from NXT, like a Thea Hale or something like that, you can have them in this mid card title scene where they don't have to get shot straight up to the women's world title. And I like that. It's nice. We get movement around there now, whereas this title isn't on like a main star like a Becky Lynch or even a Lyra right now. It looks like the match sequence will go with Maxine going up against Ivy Nile first because they have history because they were besties at one time, and then it will be Roxanne. And this is where I think we will get the title changing hands because I'm really thinking we're going to have matching IC titles pretty soon in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. If you know, you know. And I can see that happening because, if you want to set up and Liv return where she's insecure about things because Roxanne has a title and Dom has a title, there you go. Other Raw Nuts, Gunther versus Carmelo Hayes. Gunther wins, but man, that was just boring. Like, we got the hope shot of Carmelo possibly winning, but then Gunther just does his typical power slams and chokes, and then that's it. And I am so bored of the man. Somebody was saying, like, how can you be a real wrestler if you don't like Gunther? Like, I ain't been watching wrestling for over 40 years. That man bores me to death. If I want to see some technical wrestling with the character that interests me, it'll be Ilya Dragunov. And he is miles better than Gunther. Like, why are we doing this again? Why is Gunther getting a possibility to retire somebody else? Like, why? Like, can we give that to somebody else? Okay. Then we had Becky Lynch and the women's WarGames teams. I do not like Becky taking over the heel women's team. This should be Team Asuka because of her stellar heel work, and not Becky. Becky's a character, but I don't like her taking this over. Like, you just went from Maxine to the heel team, and you're taking it over when you should be taking it over. That should be Asuka. This actually should be Team Asuka versus Team Io, but I don't know why we got like Team Becky versus Team AJ Lee for right now. And then at the end of the night, we had Brock Lesnar in all his glory slipped on his entrance, busted his ass, and then handed his cowboy hat to Braun Breaker. Like, what the fuck? Like, he goes to do his typical stomp to set off the pyro, and then he slips and busts his ass. Straight busts his ass. Some people have been comparing him to Shockmaster, and if you know Shockmaster, who had his entrance ruined and his character ruined just by falling on his entrance, people are drawing that parallel. It was hilarious, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy because, like I said, I can't stand Brock Lesnar. Fuck Brock Lesnar, but that was just hilarious. My current Survivor Series prediction: Dom regains the Intercontinental Championship, and Liv for chances of return 30 to 40%. I am thinking that it is unlikely for her to return. Um, like I said, I don't think there's a spot for her yet. Not within the current storyline. Because if you brought her back now, even with Dom wins, or if you bring her back in if Dom wins, what does she do? Like, does she start battling with Raquel? For a title, and we're not even sure that she's cleared yet. I've seen reports of Chad Gable being seen at the performance center trying to get cleared than Liv. So unless they're keeping her really hidden, which is a possibility, I don't think she's even gotten into the point where she could be cleared to wrestle. And if she's not cleared to wrestle, there's not much she can do. She can sit in the Judgment Day clubhouse and do some stuff, but at this time, she can't really do much. Like, at least last year when Dom was around and he wasn't wrestling, he was doing these clubhouse scenes, and they're not doing that for Liv. And to be frank, they should have been doing that. Like, if they wanted to advance any of the storyline, she should have been around, but they haven't done that. So what I'm thinking is that Dom is going to win at Survivor Series. We're going to clear that hurdle with Judgment Day, and seeing how the holiday schedule is with Raw, where we start getting these holiday themed episodes and stuff like that. I think there's not going to be much major Judgment Day advancement. We're going to get little bits and pieces like we did right now. Like Maxine will be having Roxanne, and then Raquel's be going after Stephanie and Nikki, and we'll get something like that. But we're not going to get something major. We're not going to get somebody getting turned on. We're not going to get something else. We'll probably start getting those little bits and pieces of clues like we got last year that we can probably see, and then anything major kicks off at the beginning of next year, just by looking at the current calendar. But yeah, I'm not seeing a Liv return right now. I'm not going to predict it. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to happen. If she does pop up, I'll be surprised. Um, Overall, so tonight, the Judgment Day is just fine. Don did real heel shit, and it appears he's committed to staying heel at this moment. The mini Cena and Stu segment was fine, and it was hilarious. Judgment Day status, no clubhouse segment, but they're fine. Dom's locked in as a heel. Judgment Day, JD keeps showing out, and Finn's story is on pause. Raquel and Roxanne have different paths to take for titles, which is good for them because they need their own stories. Early guesses is that Raquel will lose and Roxanne will win the IC title eventually. And due to that, we might be getting matching Intercontinental titles. And if they ever want to do Dom Rocks, and I'm not saying in a cheating storyline, I'm just saying if they want to hint at that, you can give them matching Intercontinental titles, and you can have Liv insecure about it. And if you want to spin it into cheating or something like that, there you go. That's your jump off point. But that was Raw tonight. and this was all about real heel shit. Dom's leaning into the slime ball rule. Judgment Day is running vintage heel tactics, and the women's title scene is heating up. The Survivor Series is next, so buckle up. Dom's Eddie Guerrero era and heel era is rolling on.